Hey guys, my name is KenYada, and in today's video we are talking all about breastfeeding, my journey. It's not really a tips kind of video. It's literally just talking about what I've experienced during breastfeeding, and if anything that I talk about in this video comes off as a tip, then that's just a bonus, you know what I mean? So I decided, well, we as a family decided to breastfeed because it really is the best milk for your baby. You know, it's literally a source that's coming from the mother. So the milk is just designed for the needs and the nutrition of your baby. It's like the milk grows and develops with your child, like based on what the baby, what the baby is telling the mother. Like, if that makes any sense, like it's like they're in sync, the breast milk and the baby, you know what I mean? Like the amount you produce and things like that start to alter and change based on how much the baby's feeding, how much you need to pump, how often is the baby feeding, how often are you pumping. Like, it's just like this ongoing conversation, communication between your body and your child, and it's like a bond that's like no other. I'm not saying that you can't get this type of bond from cow's milk, but it's not the same. Like, it's not the same. Like, I breastfed with Jeremiah, my first son, so it was like a no-brainer. Of course, we was gonna breastfeed with Jeremy as well. Like, the benefits for breast milk are endless. Like, they help fight infection. Like, your baby doesn't get as sick as they would if they were taking formula or anything like that, as well as just like I said, the constant composition of the milk is changing to provide the necessary nutrients through the milk that your baby needs, as well as, like, it's easier on your baby's tummy. Like, it's easy to digest. They don't get diarrhea as often. They're not constipated. They're going to spit up, obviously, because babies are greedy and they're always like trying to drink more than they should. But like, the throw up and the spills and all of that aren't as significant. Like, the number of incidents that your child has is just dramatically decreased. I was also reading, like, while I was pregnant, I didn't really know this one. Some of this other stuff was just, I kind of knew from my own research, as well as like the doctors reiterating that type of information about the benefits of breastfeeding or whatever. But the only one that I didn't really know about was that it decreases the chance of SIDS, which is, like, for infants, that sudden infant's death syndrome, which is like the scariest thing of life. And that's why sometimes parents are always watching their baby breathe through the night, like, kind of scared to put them in the cribs without like some type of monitor, or just constantly checking in on them, because that's a real thing. Like, that first like 6 months of life, like, babies can just suddenly, that's why it's called sudden I mean, this is not even what this video is about, but this is just one of the benefits that they don't know why. Because I was looking into it, because I'm like, well, what about breast milk? Like, how does that correlate? But they don't even know. They don't even know. It's just one of those factors that when, like, a child died of well, let's just say SIDS, instead of saying such a scary term, when they died of SIDS, they weren't breastfeeding. They weren't like breastfed. So it was just one of those things that they paid attention to. Obviously, there's other factors, like, were their blankets. Jeremiah's beating at the door. Okay, pardon the interruption. Jeremiah is such a goofball. So where was I at? But basically, like, if any of these other things were featured, like, maybe, hold on. Yeah, if any of the other things that you're not supposed to do, like if you put the baby in the crib face down or on their side, not face down, but like on their tummy, on their side, where their blankets in the crib, these other things. But if there's just no reason at all, like, because that's why it's called what it's called. It's just sudden. There's no real explanation. They run these tests and there's nothing that's showing like what was the issue. And then on top of all this other stuff, some of the factors are that, like, they weren't breastfed. So there's for some reason there is a correlation between breastfeeding and SIDS. But yeah, it's just, the benefits are like endless, and like your doctor, your OB will talk about it. They bring it up. I mean, they're not there to pressure you or anything. They're just letting you know that that option is there to breastfeed, especially since, like, for whatever reason, there was just, like, I'm not saying just in the Black community, but just period, like, a stigma behind breastfeeding, because you know how the breasts are overly sexualized. I think it was just for people who know nothing about it, like, I feel like, to my understanding, none of me, my brothers, sisters, whatever, were breastfed. Like, just a lot of people weren't breastfed. So this is something, like, your body does this. Like, as soon as you have the baby, like, your body starts producing the milk. Like, first it starts off as colostrum, because it's like this thick, like, gold, it's almost like gooey situation. The baby still feeds off of it. It's very sticky, but that's what you get at first. And then about 3 to 4 days, then your milk starts, you know, your body is like going through all these changes. And it's just crazy to me that something like this happens, where there's something that clicks in your body, like, okay, we were carrying this child and now the baby's here, so now we have to feed this child. So it's a very natural thing, but I feel like for whatever reason, it was just like weird for people to breastfeed, you know, because like I said, the breast is overly sexualized, and a lot of people still have a problem with it. And that's why people feel like they can't breastfeed in public, or, you know, got to cover themselves up, or it's just weird. And I love how I'm seeing that narrative changing. Like, women out here, like, this is my body, this is my baby, I'm breastfeeding in public, I'm putting it on social media. Like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? This is me and my baby, not like you and your weird opinions. So, like, glad to see that more and more women are breastfeeding, because it's the healthier option, you know what I mean? So that's why my family and I decided that, you know, with Jeremiah, here with Jeremy, that we're breastfeeding, because it's a beautiful experience, and it's just, for us, the right thing to do. It just works. So let's get into, like, this is my little breastfeeding kit. We use this little bucket here. We actually have quite a few of them. They're used to store the milk. They're used for cleaning, because you'll probably need it. So if you're like thinking about breastfeeding, or if you're already breastfeeding and you just feel like there is stuff everywhere all the time, like, you can use your bottle rack, obviously, because I talked about this in the my newborn essentials video, that, like, you feel like because you're breastfeeding, you really don't need, like, all the bottles, storage supplies and all that, but you really do, because, like, once you start working with your breast pump and the equipment that it comes with, it just starts to feel like I have stuff everywhere. So obviously, like, a bottle rack, but something like this as well, to help store the milk, to help store the actual accessories and everything like that. So this is what my breast pump looks like. This is the actual machine. Here's the tubing. So it comes with these little pieces. This is how, like, the milk goes from, like, your breast down into the bottles. So we're just gonna, like, here we go. We're just gonna set it up. So this little yellow piece here, the suction cup, you just, like, put it on there. Like, a lot of breast pumps are just so easy to work with. They make it, you know, just very convenient, very easy. Hold on. So when it's, like, ready to go, it snaps in and it looks like this. And then I went ahead, like, these aren't the bottles that they came with. They actually, most breast pumps come with, like, a 5-ounce bottle that you just connect like this. I use the bigger bottles because, for me, like, I'm going to insert, as you already saw the beginning of the video, you saw, like, my storage of the breast milk that I currently have, as well as I'm going to show you, like, for me, a day in the life of, like, pumping. That would be a good video idea. Like, the actual, like, day in the life of, like, breastfeeding and pumping and everything like that. But basically, like, the end result, like, after it's the end of the night, like, this is what I pump for the day. I'll insert a clip, because this is normally, like, any given session. Say if it's been 2 to 3 hours and I haven't pumped, or he's been bottle fed, or whatever's going on, or if I've been away from him for several hours, like, each breast will pump 8 ounces after 3 to 4 hours. Anything after that, I'm gonna need, like, multiple of these. So this is what, you know, it looks like, the bottle, once the suction and everything's on there, and then the tube just goes in there, and you do that for both breasts. I don't have, like, the other setup, and these little cups here are what you put on the breast. So it faces this way, like, on your breast, and then this hooks to this, like, and that's it. Like, there's instructions and everything in your breast pump kit that's going to tell you how to do all of this, because at first I felt very, like, when all the tubing, all the stuff, when I was breast pumping with Jeremiah, like I felt very confused about, you know, how to do it all and trying to make sure that I was doing it right. Because you don't want it to like back up into the tubing. You don't want it to like do any craziness, because if like the tubing gets wet and stuff, a lot of times you have to like replace it because it just won't suction, like the air won't go in and it's just a hot mess. So, you're going to do this so much that you can do it in your sleep. Like once you get the hang of it, like you're pumping 3-4 times a day, every day, this is like second nature. Like you don't even have to think about it. Like you can do this at 3 o'clock in the morning while you're half asleep type stuff. This breast pump came through insurance. So yeah, like if you aren't sure like where you're going to get your breast pump from, like whether somebody like family and friend are going to get it, if you yourself are going to supply it, you know, reach out to your insurance, because a lot of insurance companies do this. It's a free service. Like for like if you're enrolled in an insurance program, like look into your maternity plan and see, like I'm like almost positive at this point every insurance does it. They supply a breast pump. I talked about this in my last video. I had like they were really adamant about using this service. So I feel like even if you don't bring it up to your OB or when you go in to deliver, they're going to handle it for you, because that's how they were for me. We had a breast pump. Jermaine bought one for Christmas, but they kept asking questions about it. And we were like, well, we have the one at home, because if you want to know, like you don't have to bring your breast pump when you deliver. If you're planning on breastfeeding, the moment that baby's out, they'll do some skin to skin and they're ready to get you started. They'll get the lactation specialist in there, so don't even worry about it. Don't worry about it like it's a new process, but they are there to help. They're like in there ready to go. They like, I mean, get comfortable basically with someone messing with your boob, because they literally will put the baby there on for you. They will adjust the boob, mess with the nipple, try, because like I said, that colostrum is thick and it's hard to get out. So sometimes you have to like manually express it to like get it out. So the lactation specialist she's ready. That's her job. You know what I mean? That's what she does all day. So don't even worry about it. That's like one thing that should not be on your list to worry. Like as a new mother, if you're about to deliver, or if you're not a new mother, but this is your first time doing a breastfeeding experience, like that lactation specialist at the hospital is there to help. She's going to make sure you're not leaving until we're sure the baby can latch, that the baby is gaining weight, so that we know that the baby is actually getting, because like I said, you're probably going to leave before your milk actually comes in. So we're just making sure that the baby can latch, so that when the milk does come, we good. But yeah, they're probably gonna be on it, because like I said, with my pump, it made it to my house before I did, and I didn't even call. I didn't do anything. Like once they knew that I hadn't used that service through the insurance, it was like, okay, we got you. We gonna do it. So like, don't even worry about it. But if you're like one of those people and you're just stressed and you want to make sure all the ducks are in a row, just reach out and tell them like, hey, I wanna breastfeed my baby. Like what do we go from here? And then they'll get you started with that breast pump service. So you're also going to need some storage bags. So this is a breast milk storage bag. It's 100 pre-sterilized bags. This is just the Walmart. You know, you can obviously get them from the baby brands. Like this pump is through Medela. They like monopolize the whole breastfeeding situation. They have like everything, but you can also do Even Flow, Lansom, like all these different brands out there. They all make pumps, and there's all these different ones. Like if you want a hand express, they have those. They have the completely electric like I have. There's so many different ones. Just go down like the feeding aisle for newborns and just, you know, look, research, see what's for you. I really like this one because it's fast. I have 2 boys, and sometimes like it's just me. Like, you know, Jermaine may be at work. He may be, you know, off at a basketball game, coaching the girls or whatever. So I'm here by myself. And sometimes it may not seem like it, like, oh, you only got 20 minutes to sit and pump. Not really. Like a lot of times, like the moment I sit down, everyone either has a meltdown or like Jeremiah needs something. So sometimes sitting down for these extended period of times to breast pump is just, we just not doing it. So I like that this is super fast, that it can like, I can sit down for like 10 minutes and fill up these whole bottles, as well as this pump is designed to be on the go. Like it even says on it, where'd it go? Pump in style. So it's like sleek, portable, so that like if I wanted to breast pump in the car, I could, because this little attachment, it has the source that goes into the wall, but it also has like a battery pack. So I'm still trying to get used to how to really make it hands-free, because even if I have that outlet that's a battery pack, you know what I mean, I still gotta hold these items. So I was thinking about trying a backpack, like where these tubes are connected obviously to me, and then like putting this like in a backpack or a fanny pack. That's really like not pumping in style, because you're gonna be looking crazy, but pumping on the go, because a lot of times I need to be able to pump and still be mobile, because at any given moment, you know, everybody's going to need things, and I can't just be sitting here for like an hour trying to express my milk, you know what I mean? But if that's something important to you, then definitely just like look at the actual pumps and see what they're talking about, you know, what's going to work best for you and your lifestyle, because it's important. Like you breast pump so much. You hear me? Like it is a job. Like between actually feeding your baby on the breast, the other part of it is pumping. Like that is a big aspect of the whole experience. Like I'm not even about to sit here and downplay it with you, because it feels like another job. Like literally, because at the beginning the baby is feeding so much. It's like if they're not on the breast, you're pumping, and it's like this cycle. So it feels like all the time you're either like it's all about the breasts at the beginning. I feel like it starts to calm down. At least it did with Jeremiah, because they can go longer, you know, they're eating more, so they can go longer periods of time. So then it's not always like, geez, if you're not on the breast, then I'm pumping. It's more like, oh, he was on the breast like, you know, a few hours ago, and now you're pumping maybe a few hours later. Like it gets shorter. Like everything just doesn't feel like constantly like we're doing this activity like a robot, you know. But I don't want to downplay it. Like it's very, especially like you just gave birth, you're tired, you're exhausted, and then it's just like boom, kick it into gear, because like this is not something you can ignore, you know what I mean? Like your breasts are going to tell you like, he needs to feed, or you need to pump, you need to do something, because then we get into that whole like your breast can get engorged from the backup of your supply. So it's like you got to constantly be expressing if you need to, because you don't, it's painful. it's painful. Like there's no other way to put it. Like if you get backed up to the point where your boobs are like lumpy and engorged and leaking, it's not a fun experience. And sometimes this is not intentional. It's just like you could go to sleep and like feed and wake up thinking you're okay, and all the while, like while you sleep, your breast just was like I don't know what you're doing, but you should have woke up and pumped. And since you didn't, this is what you're dealing with in the morning. I don't know how many mornings I've had like that, where I wake up and the first thing I have to do is pump, because it's like we backed up, you know what I mean? Because like right now, my son isn't eating enough. Like he's fine, you know what I mean? But like I'm producing more than he's eating. So like he can even like feed, and right after he's done, I'll have to pump, because if not, then I'm going to deal with being engorged or leakage or whatever. So it's just like, this is not what I experienced with Jeremiah, because I don't know, I just wasn't producing as much. Like if he fed throughout the day, I wouldn't need to pump at all. Like the only time I would need to pump is when I was away from him. If I was away from him at work, or if like, I don't know, we decided to bottle feed through the night or whatever happened, then it's like, okay, I need to pump, because he hasn't been on the breast at all today. But with Jeremy, he can be on the breast literally all day for every feed, and we still got to pump in between there. So it's just like a different experience for me. Like we definitely have to donate, because I have way too much milk, and I'm not going to be able to get rid of it. Like even if I decide to not have him breastfeed and have him bottle feed the breast milk, he's like I said, how much he's eating does not equal how much I'm producing. So that's not going to do anything. Like as he's getting rid of the supply, I'm just steadily adding to it. So I have to donate. Like, and that process actually isn't that bad. Like you just reach out to your local milk bank that's in the area that gets you started with like a screening process, blood draws and things like that. And then you just start donating. So that's definitely like what we're in the process of doing, just because I don't know how else. Otherwise, I'm just going to have this backup of milk. And we already, as you guys saw, like have a deep freezer that's pretty much full. It's full. There's milk in the fridge. I mean, there's milk in the freezer. Like, it's I mean, do you want some milk? Because I got you. Like, what is happening? So, yeah, like, I feel like that, I don't know, that's like what I wanted to touch on, like my experience with breastfeeding, like why I'm breastfeeding, why I feel like that's like the best benefit for Jeremy as well as Jeremiah. I breastfed Jeremiah for a year, and his birthday that next day I was like, let's store up all the supplies, this mommy is done. But by 6 months you're introducing like solid food anyway, so it just, like I said, get through this first like 3 months and you'll be fine, because it's going to slow down. It's not going to feel like a part-time job. Like, it gets easier is like what I'm trying to say, because by that, I felt like by 4 or 5 months, I felt like, whew, I don't know if this will be a little different, because I don't know like how my supply is going to continue as we go on, but my goal is to kind of do the same thing. I want to breastfeed Jeremy for a year's time. That's the goal. I hope that's something I can still do, because, you know, I don't know, it felt like an accomplishment once I was done with Jeremiah in the breastfeeding. Like, just one other thing I feel like is like, if you're thinking about breastfeeding and just kind of wondering about the whole like latch and, you know, just the thought of somebody like, you know, a little person down there on your boob, like, does it hurt or anything like that? No, it doesn't. Like, it's like a tug, you know, that's it. And I feel like if it does, and they tell you that too, like the lactation specialist, they definitely tell you that if it hurts, then you need to like let the unlatch, you know, you just stick your finger in there and unlatch the baby and have them re-latch, because it shouldn't hurt. And if it is, that means they're not on properly. Like, it's a shallow grasp, something they just being like lazy and not giving a good latch. So just unlatch and try again, because it should never hurt. Like, it should never hurt, because that would suck. As much as they feed, if it hurts, like, a lot of people wouldn't want to breastfeed. So if you are having an experience like that, and then if you have like WIC or anything like that, you can reach out, because they, like, it's not just a specialist while you're in the hospital. Like, you have a specialist once you're outside of the hospital through WIC. So you can definitely reach out. Like, mine texts me and stuff like that. It's very relaxed, you know, where you can reach out like, hey, this is what's going on, and they'll get you into the doctor and or into WIC or whatever, depending on how serious it is, so that you can have that constant support. That's one thing I can say, like, with the breastfeeding community, there's constant support, not just from like medical professionals or specialists, but even like people in the village, people, you know, your friends and family, other breastfeeding mothers, because we're all in this together, you know what I mean? So it's just, it's a nice thing to be a part of. Like, I wouldn't have it any other way. Like, I'm glad that I chose to breastfeed, you know what I mean? Because it's an experience, and it brings you closer to your child. I'm just here for it, and you know, you should too. Okay, so, oh, the other thing I forgot to talk about was just another thing. I don't have it with me. Shoot. I don't have it with me, but like another thing that makes it easy to like this whole on the go process is like they have these bras. They're breastfeeding bras. Like I said, Medela, they have them. Lanson has them. Any of the people who basically produce, I don't know about Even Flow, but anyone pretty much who produces and makes a breastfeeding pump has a breastfeeding bra. So I have 2 of them. One of them has like straps where it looks just like a bra, and then the other one is strapless, but it makes it hands-free. Basically, you just put on the bra, put all the equipment through the hole of the bra, and that's it. Because I can't stress how important it is to really be like hands-free, on the go. If you have more than one child, even if you just, I mean, even with just one kid, you know what I mean? Like, you just need to be able to still assess and be accessible to your child and do other things, because unless, you know, someone else is there watching the kids while you're trying to pump, it's just like, it's very important. It's almost a vital to be hands-free. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and conclude the video here. I hope, you know, you found something here helpful, whether it was the supplies you need, the experience, just hearing me talk about, you know, my experience or anything like that. If you're not already, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I have more content on my channel that, you know, is about motherhood and pregnancy and that journey. So make sure you tune into that playlist. If you made it to this part of the video, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.